Most people think that getting shredded is all about willpower. If you just train harder, if you just diet harder, you'll get there eventually. However, your genetics determine a lot more than you think about how lean you can stay long term. Your body has something that's called a set point, which is basically where your body wants to be body fat percentage wise. Your body fat wants to be somewhere between 10% body fat and 20% body fat, for example. If you go too far below your set point, you're going to start to suffer with hormones, you're going to start to suffer with hunger, and you're going to have significant energy crashes consistently. If you go above your set point, some amount of body fat, then that's going to mean you're going to have more urgency to burn calories, and you're going to have less hunger signals, meaning you're not going to eat as much and you're not going to want to crave food as much. So in this video, I'll explain exactly what your set point is, exactly how to determine your set point, and how to set realistic expectations for yourself. So then you don't have to live your life super miserable trying to achieve a body fat percentage you just can't achieve long term. I'm sure that we all knew a fatter person at school where they tried everything they could. Every single week they were on a diet. Every single week they were trying a new exercise plan, and they just couldn't seem to get the weight off, even though they absolutely tried the hardest. However, you get some people that have just always been shredded all the time, and if they tried their hardest to eat as much food as possible, they just wouldn't be able to get lean. Of course, calories in, calories out matters to everyone. You can get down to below your set point, but staying there long term is very difficult if your set point doesn't allow that. So for example, we know a lot of shredded people that they're hard gainers and they always complain about how hard it is for them to gain weight. They're the type of people that would have to eat peanut butter. They're the type of people that would have to have nuts, loads of high calorie dense foods, and encouraged to eat junk food just to get the calories in. However, if you, possibly you, I'm like this myself, if you try to eat like that, you would gain a shit ton of body fat really quick. And it's not due to the fact that you have low maintenance. It's not due to the fact that you can't have enough calories. You don't have enough of a calorie maintenance in order to handle the amount of calories. It's more to do with hunger signals and hormone production. So if you get too lean, for example, say if your set point is 10% body fat, I have done this before, and I think my set point personally is somewhere between 11 to 16% body fat. So I find it kind of easy to stay lean. I don't get hungry very often. I'm not that much of a foodie when I'm dieting, and I find it pretty effortless to stay lean. However, I've got people in my clients, and they are the opposite to me, where their set point sometimes wants to be no lower than 20% body fat. If you put a gun to some people's head and say, get below 20% body fat and maintain it for a year, they might be able to. However, they're going to suffer with all of the negative side effects I just said a second ago, where they're going to have pretty shreked testosterone levels. They're not going to be able to produce testosterone ultimately. They're going to get really bad hunger signals, and they're just going to have really low energy all the time, probably due to the fact they've got low testosterone levels. What my point here is, guys, is that anybody can get below their set point, but if you get below your set point, you're going to start to experience all of the negative side effects. And then as a result of that, your cravings for food, your ability to train is going to decrease. Your cravings for food is going to massively increase. And it's just going to be super hard for you to stay lean because your body is fighting getting that lean. Your body doesn't want to be that lean. And the way that you determine this is by looking at your parents or looking at your family members. Are your parents fat? Have your parents always struggled with weight? Or are your parents always really lean? Have your parents ever really struggled with weight loss? If you're one of those guys, your set point is probably a lot lower compared to some other people's set point. If your parents are both obese, then maybe your set point doesn't want to get below 20% body fat. The actual moral of the story and the actual valuable information I could give you guys is as soon as you start a diet, and as long as you're not cutting calories too fast, as long as you're doing it slowly enough, if you get below a certain body fat percentage or you get below a certain weight and you start to experience shit motivation and you start to experience increased hunger signals, significant increased hunger signals, low energy consistently, then, and no libido whatsoever. That's a massive determiner that your testosterone is getting crashed to the wall. What you need to do is is diet to the point where you can easily maintain it forever. For you, it might not be 15% body fat. It might even be 20% body fat. That might be your achievable body fat percentage. For some people, they can probably get down to sub 10% body fat and easily maintain it. Look at somebody like Tristan Lee, for example. And then look at somebody like Eddie Hall, for example. So Eddie Hall is one of these guys that has a higher set point. I haven't seen his parents before, but I'm assuming they're kind of higher body fat type of people, and probably more muscular type of people as well, based on his achievements. Then on the opposite extreme, you've got Tristan Lee, who's more of a guy that's probably got set points somewhere between 7 and 15% body fat. So he really struggles to get above 15% body fat. So if he really absolutely tried his hardest to force a load of food down, his hunger signals are going to significantly slow down. He's not going to get the same cravings as he would at 7% body fat, for example. And the same thing if he was to get below his set point, although it is very lean, although it is very genetically blessed with a low body fat percentage, if he was to get below 7%, for example, he would still experience all those negative side effects, all of the crashed testosterone, he would have the low energy levels consistently, and he would have all of the hunger signals. So it really, really does depend on your set point. You can get below your set point temporarily, but eventually your body will start punching you around the face and start giving you signals to get back to your set point. Whether that means you're going to be too lean for your set point and it's going to start giving you hunger signals to then eat more, or if you get above your set point, it's going to massively increase your amount of calories you burn every day through NEAT, or it's going to significantly make you want to eat less by reducing down your hunger signals. So boys, the moral of the story is try your absolute hardest to stick to your set point. If you get to, let's just say you're at 15% body fat now and you diet down to 10% body fat, and then you realize that when you get there, you have no sex drive whatsoever, you've got no libido whatsoever, you've got crashed energy levels, you've got constant hunger signals, that means you're probably dieting too lean. And the biggest indicator for this is usually libido, to be honest, because it doesn't matter how attractive you are, because lower body fat percentage you are to a certain extent makes you look more attractive, obviously. I have done this before where I've dieted so hard that I've probably got myself somewhere between 8 and 10% body fat, I would say. And when I was single, I would try my hardest to get to that body fat percentage. I would manage to get the girl in my bed in the first place. And then you guys know what I'm going to say. So if your sex drive and your libido is completely gone, then that's a massive indicator that you've dieted too hard. And then if you go above your set point and then you start to feel sluggish and you start to feel not hungry ever, you might need some sort of marijuana in order to eat more food. And that means you've probably got to a point where you're too high in body fat. And in that case, you probably want to diet down closer to your set point so you start functioning properly. Hopefully you guys understand what a set point is. Hopefully you understand roughly how to guesstimate your set point. You basically just look at your parents, look at your family. Are my parents fatter than most parents? Are my parents effortlessly able to stay lean compared to most parents? That will determine what your set point is, and it will determine how easy it is for you to get shredded. So thank you very much for watching, boys. If you want to join my program, first link in the description, Size and Violence. If not, and you want more help with this, maybe you can diet down harder, maybe just not able to, then book a call with me below. We'll get on the phone together. I'll find out what you're doing. I'll find out what you're doing right now. And then I'll discuss how I could possibly help you. And if it makes sense to work together, we can work together. So thank you for watching. First link in the description for my program, Size and Violence. Second link in the description for booking a call with myself. Thank you very much for watching.